y'all. It's season 3 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, and we humbly thank you for tuning in. Be Your Own Kind's mantra is there is never an inopportune time to be yourself. In other words, be you without apologies. In this season, I will be presenting nuggets and interviewing individuals that are creating their lane and rocking it. Be sure to check out the featured businesses in the description box and follow us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and pretty much every platform. Okay, now let's take flight. Hello, Own Kinders. This is Renita from Be Your Own Kind. And I just want to be transparent to say this is my third time recording this one episode. The first time, I had no idea what I was going to say because I'm still working with this unscripted version where I don't have an aid, but I just have a topic. But it was going awry. And then the second one was perfect, totally perfect. And then my computer was like, nope. So this is the third time. And what they say, 3 times a charm. So let us hope so. So, I mean, I so eloquently put it, like, it was so beautiful, the second video. I don't think it's going to come out as intelligent this time around. But what I'm talking about today in this episode is when the truth becomes inconvenient. So this is also talking about something that is not true. And what I mentioned so eloquently in the other video was sometimes we are stuck on that blanket response of I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm fine. Why are you laying in bed? I'm just a little tired, but I'm okay. Why are you crying? Just letting it out. But I'll be okay. And I feel like sometimes we're stuck on that macro, which I call that blanketed response of I'm just fine, because it's kind of a fear, or I don't know what it is, but when you feel like you're inconveniencing people if you actually say that you're not okay. Because if you say that you're not okay, your loved ones will stop what they're doing to see what is wrong or to just listen. Because sometimes everything doesn't warrant advice. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen to you. And so you think like they don't have time to talk to me. They have their own problems. They don't have time for that. But if it's your circle, they have time for that. They have time for that. And that's the whole purpose of a support system, because it's not just you always, unloading on your support system, but your support system unloading on you too. And the last thing they would want to know is that you're hurting, and you're hurting alone, and you didn't let them know. So not only are you not practicing self-care, you are hurting the ones that you love as well. Because first of all, when you hurt people that love you, you affect them greatly. When you're sad, they are sad because you're sad. We affect our people in our circle, whether we give it credit or not, because energy transfers, and when you deeply care for someone, you don't want them to feel down. So what made me even think about this, because I think of the many times where I said I was fine and I didn't reach out because I didn't want to be a burden and I didn't want to be an inconvenience to anyone. Especially when I was diagnosed with depression, I'm just like, oh great, I'm defected, I'm broken. Let me just try to figure this on my own. I can do this all alone. I don't need people. So I push people back a lot. But I would still try to give on an empty tank. I would still try to give on fumes. But when it was my turn, to be poured into, I would decline it, because you got your own stuff. But in actuality, I had my own stuff when I stopped, to help others, and they never felt like an inconvenience to me. So I don't know if it's like a cognitive distortion where you are afraid to reach out because you're afraid of becoming an inconvenience or afraid of becoming a burden, especially if your circle or the people that you're connected with has never verbalized either of this. You're just automatically saying that you're an inconvenience, or you're automatically saying that you're a burden. And your truth and your feelings and your thoughts, you just seem like a big inconvenience to share them. And what I want to tell you is, if you're in the right circle, you're never an inconvenience. You're never a burden. I believe that the people around you would rather you say something to get you the help, to get you the advice, to give you a listening ear, to give you that hug, to give you that ice cream, whatever you need that'll help you feel better, that'll help you cope. It's almost worse to hold it in than it is to let it out. And yes, journaling is great. Yes, affirmations are great. But sometimes you have those days where you need someone to talk to, where you need someone to be like, "Hey, let me just listen. I'm here to just listen, and you could just talk, and with no judgment, and recently I have been experiencing situations like that where I just speak freely and so openly, from the heart, and my heart just pours out because I'm in a safe space. Safe space. It's funny when people say that, but I'm in a safe space. I don't have to worry about someone thinking that I'm crazy, because that's always been my thing, especially since I was diagnosed with depression. I always just felt like, oh my God, some people have even mentioned that, oh, you're just sad. But depression is not just sad, because if I'm sad, I can pretty much band-aid that, but no, I'm deeply affected, and I'm deeply just hurt by something. And you know what? That's okay. I feel deeply, and that's okay. It doesn't make me crazy. That's just how I'm made up. So with that ability to feel so deeply, I have made that a superpower. But sometimes that superpower sometimes have me super distraught, and I have to have the I don't know, the bravery to speak out and say, hey, I'm not okay, because it's brave to do that. Because here it is, when I say I'm not okay, that's power. First of all, that's acceptance. Second of all, that's reaching out to the people and say, hey, I don't even know what's wrong with me today. I just know I need to reach out, or I need to hear a joke, or we can just talk about random things. Because when I reach out to my support system, we are really talking about why I'm sad. I just need you to be a distraction sometimes. And sometimes I do cry and have ugly cries. And sometimes I just want to hear you talk about your stuff, so just I don't have to hear about my stuff. However you do that, it's still reaching out to someone. If you are in a circle where you feel like you are an inconvenience, you may want to rethink that circle. And as I said so eloquently in the second video, like, there are so many groups out here, Facebook groups, you got Clubhouse, you got such apps. Like, one of my favorites is Racket, where you can just say your thoughts and everybody can just respond to your thoughts, and you can listen to other people's thoughts and respond to their thoughts. You don't even have to worry about being cute and being in front of a video. You're just being, and at the end of the day, I feel like that's what everybody want to do. They want to just be. And I know I said that the last video, but I really believe that's what it is. And how can you be when you're in a circle that's like, oh, something wrong with you again? Oh my God, snap out of it, which is the worst thing that I don't like. I do not like to be told to snap out of it, because sometimes I can't snap out of it. Sometimes you can't snap out of it. Life sometimes have a way of just kicking your ass. Like, that's just how I feel. And it's up to you to fight. And sometimes just fighting is just resting in God, resting in a friend, and resting in the people that He put in your life. Because we're all in each other's life for a reason. It is just beyond me to think that we are meant to be alone when there's so many people on earth. And when we get so stuck to a toxic circle, why? When we can just find someone that'll just love to be in our presence, just to be in our presence. We don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to purchase affection. We don't have to bend over backwards. We don't have to people please. There's just some people out there that love you in their company. And why do we push those people away? Why do we push those people away that don't make us feel like an inconvenience? Because I feel like sometimes you just want the love from who you want it from. And that goes into controlling something that you can't. And then that sometimes goes with you connecting to people, places, and things that are not good for you. It's like I had to pray for God to let me see people for who they are, which was a powerful prayer, because I was let down on some people. Like, oh man, oh, that sucks. I thought they were there for me, because sometimes we fantasize about so much about who we want this person to be that we miss who they actually are. We miss the gaslighting. We mix the toxicity. We miss the verbal abuse, the mental abuse, emotional abuse. And sometimes we miss the physical abuse because we're giving excuses. We're gaslighting. But I know they're a good person because they were good before, and they could still be a good person, but that don't mean that they are good for you. It doesn't mean that they're not hurting you. What about how you're feeling? Are your feelings being validated? Or is it a give and take, or is it mostly just a take and then a gaslight when it's your turn? Or something's wrong with you, or you're being felt to be defective, and back to the subject, feeling like an inconvenience. It's very important to pay attention to those things and make sure that we are seeing the person who they are. No one is perfect, but there are just some deal breakers and some boundaries that we set in our life. Well, no, you're not going to make me feel like this. And if you don't have those boundaries and those deal breakers, I do challenge you to create them. Not only to just to protect. No, it is to protect yourself. It's to protect your heart. It's to protect your sanity. Because we only got one life to live, and I'm not going to live and be miserable with you or miserable around you. I don't care who you are. That's just where I'm at in life. But it took me a minute to get there. It did, because I have a case of codependency. So it took me, and I still struggle with that. But I still have to stop and say, is this conducive to my mental health? Does this add value to my mental health, or does it devalue my mental health? It's an intentional thing. It's a conscious decision every time. It's work. It is. I'm off the subject. So the subject is you're not an inconvenience. Find a circle. Here is something that I challenged on the beautiful video that I previously recorded, is to write down 3 names of people that never make you feel inconvenienced and always makes you feel comfortable no matter what type of day you're having. And fold that sheet of paper, put it in your wallet or your purse, whatever you carry with you around. So when you have those days and you feel like you can't talk to certain, pull that out. Contact those people, and you can even communicate to those people, hey, you're on my go-to list. And make sure that you are supporting them back. Make sure that you are iron sharpens iron. Make sure you're pouring back in them too, because support always go both ways. But we have people out there that's just like dying to be in our space. Allow them in. Everyone is not out to get us. Everyone is not out to hurt us. And for those that did, shame on them, because they just missed out on an incredible person. So I implore you to be patient with yourself, to be kind to yourself, and to know that you're not an inconvenience. You're not an accident. You're not a mistake. You're not a defect. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. And just because you're in a tough season doesn't mean it's going to be permanent. It is a lesson that you need to learn. It is a trial that you have to go through. But here's the thing, you will get through it. And you will get through it more so when you reach your hand out to you, when you reach back to the people that's reaching out to you, that has your best interests. And until next time, don't forget to be your own kind. Don't forget to be kind to each other. And bye.